notes here. How are you guys today? Welcome to the Get Started and Retire Early Through Real Estate Investing Facebook group. This is our weekly call where we get together, answer any questions that I've seen. And I think I saw something from Marilyn in there. I'm going to go ahead and check in on that. You can actually ask live here today. So if you're joining us live, hit hashtag live. If you're doing the replay, hashtag replay. This really helps me to get to know who's doing what, participating in what, because I do train on wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and money lending. We have quite a few classes coming up in understanding, let's see, this is the feedback I got, understanding probate, understanding short sales, and subject to. So all of those are going to be coming down the pike. So if you want to hear more about how those work, and why we're doing it is what's important. And that's actually the title of this talk here today is, turbulent markets and what to do with it. I don't know if y'all know, but the market crashed, stock market crashed, dropped down like 1,100 points or whatever the heck it was. I don't even know. I don't pay attention too much to the market. Like I'm not like every day on it. I do, on an overall basis, check and see what's going on. I do know when something major happens because it does affect real estate, believe it or not. And as a savvy real estate investor, which I strive to be since the day I actually started doing real estate, I've learned that savvy investors, the different things that they pay attention to. And so many did not pay attention in 2008. I was one of them. I did not understand. What do you mean the market? I'm investing. It's cash flow. I got it. It's good. We're good, right? No, you're not. So understanding really what's going on in the market. And right now it might be hard to see because most of the detrimental things that are happening are in the big boys club. And what I mean by that is when I'm training you guys about where to choose your market, like don't choose city center because that's where all the sharks are. Go just outside of city center. You get, a better bang for your buck, number one, and you're not competing with deep pockets, right? So they're actually in an upheaval right now, multifamily, big commercial properties who bought anywhere between 2017 and 22. Their loans are coming due. There's over $1 trillion dollars coming due, and it's a short sale of big multifamilies. We're talking 75, 100, 100 units and up. They're facing the traditional way they do that is getting a property that needs some sort of value add. So they have a loan that will mature in like 3, 5, or 7 years. So again, that 17 to year 22 window, it's coming due, and the rates are totally different now than when they first analyzed the property, and it doesn't make sense. They no longer are valuable, so they're turned upside down. So the value of multifamily is the cash flow coming in, and if it's wiped out by a mortgage, it's no longer that valuable. So whoop, we call this a short sale. So a short sale is not short in time wise, but here's the note, right? And when they got it and everything was cool, the value was above what they owe. And now what's happened with the market is it's switched and the value is below what they owe. And now they're like, I can't make this work. And so the banks are taking them back. So if anyone is interested in big multifamily, now's the time to scoop that up because, a lot of it's going back to the bank. And you could just figure that out with looking at 2008. It's like the same scenario, but in a different box. I hope that makes sense for you. It's in the big boy box. So a lot of you out there getting brand new to real estate and don't really understand the market or what's going on, you may not see that right now. But those of you that have been in real estate for a minute, I spoke with one of y'all about scaling and moving your business further. What we have going on inside of our Retire Mastermind is, thinking a little bit bigger. to some of my more advanced students that are looking into multifamily. So a couple of different things are going on with that. Everyone pretty much starts out in single family. Here's the steps that typically happen. They start out at single family and they do wholesale or a very simple buy and hold where there's not much work to be done. That is the start of real estate investing. There's so much more to it after that, right? There's flipping, there's the burst strategy, the short term, there's midterm, there's all these things that you get to do. But everyone starts with what's best for them. So when y'all come on board on the Retire Mastermind, you get a customized plan. And so I say that because each one of my students is on a different road. And we are all on the same road when it comes to the market. Okay. And so I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about that. The stock market is very volatile right now. And how does that affect real estate? Okay, so how does that affect real estate? So what I told one of my students today was no flips right now. Like the cutoff has already happened. No flips. Okay. Now, if you're somebody who's doing fix and flip and you've been doing it for years, like you understand the risk, you understand what's going on, but know that we're in a volatile moment. And what was valued at one point is your ARV is now lower. Okay, and it's going to get lower, and then it's going to get lower. So just to help you guys understand even more, so as a wholesaler, you're selling to fix and flippers and landlords, and that margin for you to get is going to be less and less until it corrects itself. Okay, so a little stair stepping is going to happen. So we're in a volatile market right now. And so I've been living off of real estate for 24 years. There's a few things I know about the market. It does the wave, like get on the floor, bounce, do the worm, like that's what real estate does, period. And if you don't know that, you're in the wrong business, or you just haven't been educated yet. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that the difference between local markets and regional and national. Okay, so why I say that is because overall, okay, what we're facing is a downward market overall. Now, if you looked at South Carolina, you might go, shit, it's still up there, right? What do you mean a down market? We're like hustling and being crazy over here and there's hardly any properties. It's flattening, you just don't quite see it yet, okay? So it's one of the last ones to turn, if you will. Whereas in other states, it like Florida, dropped immediately, okay? And you can easily see this by looking on Zillow. And as you look, you say, ooh, price drop, price drop, price drop. That's an indicator, right, of our market. And so you don't not do real estate. You can make money in any market. Let's just say that. But you need to know what market you're in so you don't lose your skirt. You tracking? Okay. Hey, Danielle, nice to see you. I would love to close a wholesale deal and could use some help finding motivated sellers. Absolutely. So in our training, what is it? The 5 and 5, day 2, basically, is where we go over finding motivated sellers. And so let me answer this for you real quickly as I'm going through the market. You're going to have a lot of motivated sellers coming up here. So this plays right into the market that I'm talking about. Sellers don't really understand where they are in the market right now. They're still asking for that high price that we all got through the COVID and boom of 2023. That little notion there, it has come down and they're like fighting tooth and nail to get as much as they can. Okay, so motivated sellers are all over the place right now, and they're wanting top dollar. How do you give them top dollar? The deal needs to make sense not just to you, but to your end buyer. Okay, what is your end buyer looking for? Number one, you should have an end buyer in place before you're contracting something. Okay. Again, please track with me because some people will say, as long as you have a property, it's, good deal. You'll have and buyers. Okay. Nobody knows you're in business yet if you haven't done one. So please talk to end buyers first. What do they want? It's like going to Applebee's, right? You go into Applebee's, you sit down, and your waitress serves you liver and onions. You're like, I didn't ask for liver and onions. And so she can't do anything. Nobody's asked for liver and onions. She can't get rid of this plate. And now it's ruined. It's gone bad. She's got to throw it in the garbage. Okay. Same thing with real estate investing. You are the waitress at Applebee's. You need to be able to serve something up that people want. If they came in there looking for a chocolate shake, you better go get them a chocolate shake, right? You take their order, then you go to the kitchen and you go get it. And then you bring them back a chocolate shake. You get paid handsomely for it. Same thing with wholesale. You take the end buyer's order, you go to the market, okay? And then you get the deal that they want and you serve it up and they pay you handsomely for it. Okay, it truly is that simple. Here's where people mess up, is they just grab anything and go, here, I got one. And I want you to think about the person on the other end of that line. Most realtors can't stand wholesalers because you guys jack up the deals and you don't follow through and you ruin someone's life at the other end of that. Okay, so that's one of the reasons I started training, is because I've done a shit ton of wholesale. And when I started flipping, I wanted wholesalers to give me properties. And they all sucked at it. I go, let me show you how to do it. Because when I did it, I made good money and they loved me and it was all gravy for me. Okay, oh, well, okay, not everything's gravy, but I did really good at it. And end buyers only wanted to deal with me because I gave them real numbers, real scenarios, and they closed. I dealt with them because they closed, right? You need to have the same thing and that same attitude. How can you best serve that end buyer? You better know who they are, not just plaster shit on Facebook and try and get an end buyer. Create those relationships. I can't tell you how important that is. Create those relationships. Okay. And the market that we're turning into, know that that margin is going to be a little bit different now. So are you selling it to a fix and flipper, or are you selling it to a landlord? You sell it to a landlord, you'll have a better margin to play with, right? So if it's becoming smaller, it's probably going to go to a landlord. They're not going to need as much margin as a fix and flipper. Okay. I can get in detailed in the training. We got some trainings coming up here for you. Let me know more questions that you have around that. But finding motivated sellers is simple. They're all around you. And there's going to be more and more and more. So if y'all want me to teach a wholesale class, maybe that's a good idea. I'll teach a wholesale class inside the group here, so you guys really understand the logistics of doing any real estate investing is really understanding your market. I cannot emphasize that enough. And so this is why we're talking about the turbulent market that we're in today, because it's only going to get more turbulent. Okay. So I wrote some notes here. I want to make sure you understand how to mitigate your risks. And a lot of that is education. So that's why I think I'm going to throw together a wholesale. Danielle, let me know if that'll be supportive of for you. Education is number one. If you're not educated in what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing, you're just grab-assing, I guess is a verbiage that just came to mind, and not really paying attention, you're not going to do very well at this. You're not going to do very well. So my students have systems in place to understand, first of all, the market that they're in, whether it's their backyard or it's across the nation. They have a choice. Okay, their exit strategy. Does their exit strategy match their market? Okay, and what they're going to do. Because if you're wholesaling, you could do that in California. And flipping, you could do that in California. But buy and hold, do not do that in California. Okay, they are not cash flowing properties. And I only let my students buy cash flowing properties to keep them safe. Okay. And don't sit here and tell me, well, I'm going to get a short-term rental and I can make all this money so I don't have to worry about regular long-term cash flow, right? Wrong. So every deal you do should pencil out with long-term rent. Whatever you do on top of that is gravy. Okay, if you do a short-term, a mid-term, a lease option, and blah, 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 all those things, it should pencil out to a long-term rental cash flowing at least $300 to $400 or more minimum, right? To cover property management, taxes, insurance, all the things. Okay, so we run over that in our training. We run over the numbers of starting with the ARV, taking out repairs, taking out all the things that you need, and then what is your max purchase price? If you're wholesaling it, you add, you know, $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, whatever it is for you, to that, and then that's your max purchase price. Okay, so mitigating some risks also means diversification. So not only are you getting educated, and I can't stress that enough, to be educated before you start something, especially investing. It's like going to the casino. Like, oh, I didn't know that I could lose $1,000. Yeah, you can. So easily. So understand your market, understanding the ethics of real estate and principles of investing. You'll go far by doing that, okay? And diversifying. So I train on wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and money lending because I want y'all to be like Batman with a bunch of tools in your pocket. Okay, so right now, a lot of my students are pivoting. Okay, my students are pivoting because the market is changing. All right, and it's to our advantage as investors, by the way. It's to our advantage as investors. There's the old saying, buy low, sell high. That is an opportunity that is about to happen for y'all, okay? And it doesn't mean you sit here and wait, because you're not going to understand when the bottom is if you're not educated. So that's why this is number one, get educated, study your market so that you know what that is, all right? Think of your long-term focus. What is your long-term goal? Now, you're in this group because it's get started, learn how to get started, right? Get educated, and then retire early through real estate investing. Building your own retirement plan is priceless. It's this financial fortress that you get to build. Okay? I've been living off of real estate for 24 years. Let me tell you, it is amazing to be able to have assets that take care of you. Okay? If you're an entrepreneur and you're making money, that's great. That's only half the battle. Okay? I geek out on the tax and legal, and being an entrepreneur and having real estate assets is how you pay next to zero in taxes. So follow along with me here. All right? Get started and retire early through real estate investing. You get the cash flow that you get to live off of. Okay? And it's not taxed like earned income. Okay, it's taxed differently. It's passive income. And when you sell the property, helping you guys understand the equity, like if you had to sell it, like my landlord did, right? So she had a stroke and she had been living off of her real estate assets. She had a stroke and she sold off a couple of her properties, okay, to pay for her long-term care. And this is what I want for you all. So if you could retire on real estate and have it back you up as a wealth plan, like what would you do with your life? Type that in the comments. Let me know. Hey, Gail, good to see you. She says, yes, give me the class. You got it. You got it. So I'm going to do a wholesale class here for you guys. I have a workshop coming up in a couple weeks. And then after that, we'll do that. Leverage management. So if y'all think you're going to do this by yourself, you're wrong. It takes a village to do real estate. And so that is one of the things that I train on, is building team and knowing who that team should be. How do you talk to them? How do you vet them out? How do you know who's going to work and who's not going to work? Okay. And we have a regular call. We have lots of wins and learns inside of our mastermind. We're actually putting together a whole module on just wins and learns that my students have gone through. There's quite a few deals that are happening right now. We have a private channel that they all, you know, speak into. I got one too. I got one under contract. I'm closing on one. I just closed on one last week. And so it's popping right now. It's popping. We had over, it was 11 last time I checked, 13, 14. We're like at 14 properties this month and a half. So it's popping. Okay. Again, you could make money in any market. The object is to focus on what is today's numbers, today's market. Secure yourself today handsomely with cash flow if you're holding, and then wholesale if you're just doing a wholesale. And if you're doing a flip, make sure there's a huge margin for the course correction of the market. Okay. And so market analysis is huge. Really understanding what's going in the market. We'll go over that in our training. So this is just to give you an idea of how we're going to move this forward. And understanding that, again, I have over 24 years experience, and wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and money lending is the core of this group. It's a core of me, so it's the core of this group. And understanding how each of them work so that you could be like Batman, and no matter what your situation, do you have to use your belt rope, or do you use the Batmobile, or do you use the motorcycle, or do you use the airplane? Like, what tools do you have in your tool belt to pivot when the market shifts? Just like Batman, okay? And I use Batman because, like, he's into real estate, and he's no superhero. He's just a rich guy. He owns real estate. Anyway, so when you're understanding your market, you need to understand the demographics of it. Okay, so one of the main things I want you to understand is if you're holding property, I'm going to give you an example of Detroit back in 80 something or other, when the car manufacturer, all of them shut down and then moved out. So they were actually giving houses away. Like, you could pay $100 for a house in Detroit. Nobody wanted to buy there. It was just desolate, gangster ridden. Nobody wanted it, right? And so there's been a revitalization, but that took several, like 50+ years to happen. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this is because let's just take it to a military area, like San Diego, right? There was a huge base there. If you are based off of a one-man band, when that band leaves, what tenants do you have? Okay, that's part of your market analysis, is understanding who are the big boxes that are employing your tenants. And in the big boy world, they would say, who's your clientele? Okay, who are the tenants that are going to live there? Are they blue collar workers? Are they students? Are they white collar workers? And are they diverse? Maybe it's a mixed bag of them. Okay, but if you have one primary employer, because regardless, real estate doesn't work without people. And if the people aren't there, then you have no people to rent to. Okay, just say, hopefully that makes sense. So your market should have a diverse employment opportunity. Okay, nothing should be more than 50%. Okay, so like 35% is, you know, industrial workers, 20% is tech, you know, and then health workers, and then like you have a diverse group that's there, not just one. All right, so what are their income levels? And so you could Google all of this. This is no secret. Hey, what is the population growth? What is the city and state? Okay. The average income levels of this house or of this area. And then employment rates. Are employment rates up or down? Is crime increasing or decreasing? Okay, this gives you an idea of what's going on in your market locally. So again, we start nationwide with what's going on in the market. And right now there's turbulence inside of the stock market, huge drop. And this affects real estate. And so in the big boys club, there is a lot of things going on, loans that are coming due that they can't pay. Okay, and this is like $5 million loans, $20 million loans, that they cannot give back. So there's going to be a lot of bank-owned multifamily out there. And the more you understand what's going on in the different levels nationwide, easier it is to understand your local market and what's happening. Okay, and then how you get to move forward. All right. So understand the trends and that the specifics that are in your area. Make data-driven decisions. This is truly the bottom line. Data-driven decisions. I had one of my students come to me and she's like, oh my God, it's so cute. I want this house. I'm like, we don't buy cute houses. We buy stinky, ugly houses typically. And if it's not a stinky, ugly house, it's stinky, ugly financially. Like they're in a financial ruin. It might be a cool house, but they're in a financial ruin. Okay, like pre-foreclosure, or they did lose their job, or they're whatever. And then we're there to be of servant heart to support them and see how we can either help them keep their house or purchase their house, sell their house, whatever it is, to support the seller, for crying out loud. If we all could just band together and support each other, that would be key. Okay, you're going to get more deals. I'm not saying, you know, just all you do is tell people how to save their homes. 9 times out of 10, they can't, and they're going to come back to you. All right, they're going to come back to you. So have as many conversations with what may seem to you a motivated seller, or you're not sure, just have the conversation anyways. Another thing that you could look for is if you're speaking to somebody who's renting and they're like, my landlord sucks, blah, 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 blah. Well, go figure out why they suck. Maybe they're a tired landlord and they don't want to deal with property anymore. You can give them a buzz and go, hey, I'm looking for property in the area. Okay. Are you thinking of selling? Do you know anyone who might be selling? So that's a simple way to get a hold of motivated sellers, that before they call the realtor, right? So speaking directly to sellers helps you to get the edge on a creative offer. Okay. So I know I kind of dove into quite a bit of this. I don't want to confuse you in any way, shape, or form, but what I want you to understand is the market that we're in and to mitigate risk. That's the 2 major things I wanted to get across today. We'll go deep dive into speaking to sellers and how to wholesale. You all should know, every single one of you should know how to wholesale. What I mean by that, let me back that up. Okay, so the savviest of savvy investors in the world wholesale before it was even popular. Now, like every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing it. They don't really understand it. They just heard this glory thing that they can make 30, 40, 50,000, right? One of my students made 100,000. Okay, but I'm not saying that as an income claim. I'm saying it as that's what you read in the internet out there. I have proof of that doing 5, 10, 20,000 myself, right? So a pop. It just depends on the deal, what's going on in the market, blah, blah, blah. If a real estate investor, like before it was wholesale, can take properties and chunk it out to all his buddies, right? Just give me 10 grand for it. I don't need 50 or 100 or whatever it may be worth more. Just give me 10 grand. Don't be greedy. All right. You'll get more deals that way as a wholesaler. You'll make more end buyers happy. But see, you don't know that they need it yet because you didn't have that conversation. Okay. So the more conversations you have, the more you'll find the need. So don't do wholesale because you think it's sexy, because you think you can make $50,000. Do wholesale as a service from a servant heart, where you're serving the end buyer, like the Applebee's waitress, right? And you're serving the seller. Okay? You're not just serving one or the other. It's a win-win-win deal. Everyone has to win. You start by understanding the nation as a whole, your local market. You call your title company, multiple title companies. They're all different. They all offer different services. They have a core service that they offer through federal and state law, but there's other things that they do that makes them stand out. So know what that is. Have a conversation with them. And don't just talk to the receptionist. They're going to go, you want to do what? Huh? They don't know. The escrow officer, what? Do you have escrow or not? Okay. You want to talk to area rep. The area rep is the marketing person who's going to go, oh yeah, I got you. Here, we're going to set you up. This is what we do. And they'll walk you through it. Okay. So that would be your top things to get to do. Understanding your market as a whole, your local market that you're in. What is the average price of a home in that area? Is your market up, sideways, or down? You could briefly look at Zillow, aside of Googling it, and see the red cuts, cut, cut 10,000, cut 30,000 in price. That's a down market. All right. If you see any greens, that's up. You're not going to see many greens. You might just see flat, regular numbers. All right. That's just a quick glance at Zillow. All right. So understanding that, and how many conversations can you have with realtors and motivated sellers? Where do you find them? Every day of the week. You can definitely find them in, get a list from the courthouse. There's pre-foreclosure. There's people that are relocating. There's tired landlords. There's all kinds of motivated sellers out there, and nobody knows who you are yet if you haven't started. So it's tougher. Once you get started and people get to know what you do, it gets easier. So get started, because the wave is coming for y'all to make some money. So I want you to be educated so you can get your share of the pie. Sound good? Awesome. All right, let me see here. What do we got? Who's that? Who is Intelia? Who's spamming my group? Not cool. Not cool. Anyway, so I hope this is helpful for you all, how to mitigate risk, how to understand your market, and we'll do a couple classes on wholesale and subject to, I have a few of them going on, and probate. Those are some things I really want to make sure that you guys get, how to leverage your time, how to leverage your understanding of each of these so that you can acquire the real estate that you want to acquire. So if you need anything, please send us a DM, leave us comments inside of the group, and we'll get back to you, and have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.